Hey guys, I think I'm live. It says live 17 seconds. I'm going to wait a few seconds here for you guys to come in, those of you who want to join. Tonight I want to talk about crocheting and knitting, so any questions that you guys might have. This is a perfect time to ask the questions. Now is a perfect time to bring up any project ideas you guys might have. I know of one person who's asked me to make baby mittens, like the ones you put on newborns so they don't scratch themselves. So I'm going to put together a pattern for that as well. So hopefully that'll be up. It probably will wind up being the very last project for this month. So anyway, I'm going to give you guys a few more minutes to come on in. So right now, I had kind of a thing happen this week where I had to switch hours with someone. So I had a little bit of an issue with getting the video up earlier today because I didn't have the time during Friday to get stuff done. And I just want to let you guys know that this particular video that's supposed to go up tonight or today will be up after the live. So I've got to work on a few things, get the thumbnail made and all that stuff, and then it'll go up after the live is done. I'll get busy getting that together, and it should be up by, let's see, we'll do this till 7 maybe. I want to say it'll be up no later than 8 o'clock my time, so Mountain Standard Time. So I do apologize. I really wish that I could coordinate my hours a little bit better with work and YouTube and just everything. So anyway, we had 4 viewers and now we have 1. You guys can, this chat is for you guys if you guys want to talk about crocheting or knitting. You guys are more than welcome to leave comments, and only related to knitting and crocheting. That's what these lives are for. These lives are for students who are learning from me or who need help with something pertaining to either knitting or crocheting, but that's it. I've had lives before where people have left really dirty comments and I'm not going to stand for it. So anyway, those comments will be removed and you will not get any attention. Just letting you know right now. Anyway, so well, I'm trying to think about something to talk about. That's kind of why the lives are here. The lives are here for you guys to come in and ask questions and come up with topics of conversation. I am here for you, so you're watching this. Basically, here's what happens. I will probably ramble for 15 minutes, and then if nobody's here and nobody comments, then I'm going to end the live. That's usually what I do. And then it will probably get published unless I feel like it's kind of a pointless video, then I won't even put it up. So anyway, I'm trying to think of something I could talk to you guys about. Oh, I do have one question. So as many of you know, I have these business cards and they are for the channel. I'm quite proud of them, actually. They are made by me. I designed them. And I was wondering if any of you guys would like me to send you maybe, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 of these, and like each person, and then you guys could pass them out at places like at yarn shops or like I don't know if you meet somebody in a Walmart or something like that. I'm trying to grow this channel and I want to do it in a non-spammy way. So I do use those business cards when I'm in, like, say, Hobby Lobby and someone is looking for something and I can help them find something because I'm in that store quite often. Then it usually starts up a chat of some kind, and then I might mention something about the channel, and then they start asking questions, and so now I have the business cards that I can start handing out. That way I don't have to grab a piece of paper and write down information to hand them. Then, you know, it's already there. So that way they can just kind of grab that business card and be like, okay, here she is. Let's go into the, you know, let's go find her. I've actually met a couple of subscribers that way. So welcome to the chat. I have two viewers right now. We're talking about crocheting and knitting. So if you guys are interested in, you know, leaving comments below and chatting about this topic of conversation, go ahead. As I said before, I'm here for you guys. If you need any help with anything, if you don't understand the knitting that I've been teaching, if you don't understand some of the concepts of crochet, then I can help you here. That's what it's for. This is basically one-on-one time. This is one-on-one teaching, one-on-one knitting, one-on-one crocheting. So feel free, y'all, to ask away, ask questions. And I lost both the other. I guess they're not interested. Okay. Well, I'm going to find on my phone. Sorry about this coughing, you guys. I still have this terrible tickle. Ah. Hey, Leona. Kids' mittens can I make? I can. What kind of mittens you want? Are you talking about the kinds your fingers fit in? You talking about mittens that go around the fingers like this and have a thumb? Or are you talking about baby mittens that are round and you put them on the baby so that they don't scratch themselves? What kind of mittens are you talking about? Because I've made mittens before, like the kind that go around the fingers with the thumb. I've made those before. I used to actually have my own business where I sold things that I made, and mittens were part of it. So I'll let you go ahead and answer that question that I just asked you, rather. Welcome to the chat, you guys. If you guys want to come in and talk about crocheting and knitting, project ideas and that kind of thing, come on in. Now, I will explain. I'm sorry, I know I've probably gotten people going, why does she only ever make hats and scarves? I am making hats and scarves because when I started this channel, it was for beginners and beginners only. And I wanted to show people that crocheting, first of all, isn't hard. And second of all, that you could make anything with just a single crochet stitch or just a double crochet stitch or whatever. And that basically teach the concept for the technique and then give you guys the chance to practice that, get good at that, and then give you guys a project to work on. So it kind of started, if you go way down to the bottom of my channel, you'll notice that it has like just, I mean, from the very beginning, how to make a chain, how to make a single crochet stitch along the chain, how to do a baby hat, a basic baby hat with just the single crochet stitch. And then the next thing was how to make the half double crochet stitch, and then showing you how to make a project with a half double crochet. So that was like a cowl. And then beyond that, it was how to make a double crochet, and then how to make a double crochet hat that was flat and then folded up and then sewn up along the seam and then weaved around the top and then a pom-pom added. So with fingers, you know, I've never made them with fingers before. More because nobody's ever wanted me to. Nobody ever ordered those from me. Basically, I know how to do it, but it is quite tedious. It's quite tedious. And the thing too is that when you make mittens, you want them to be, or gloves, we call them gloves here in Arizona. When you make those, you need to make sure that as you're making the part here across this part of the hand, that every single area where there's going to be a finger in between, like there's going to be 3 spots where you're going to have to tie it off in the material. so that you, and then over here too in the thumb area, these areas here need to have where the fingers can come up, so then you have to work each space around. So between, so if you have a tie here, like a where it's connected here, then you're going to work around a hole that's right here for this finger, around a hole for this finger, and so on and so forth. And then you're going to have to worry about like where the webbing sits and how much room you're going to, it takes, I mean, it depends on the size of the hand too. If you're making it for children, then, you know, you need to know the size and measurements and things like that. So, will I ever make them on this channel? I won't say never. I won't say no. There's a good chance that I could. But there's a lot of, that wouldn't happen for quite a while. There's a lot of other projects that are in the works, and as well as people that have been requesting things from me as well. So I'm trying to kind of fill in those requests as I go. Because I mean, this channel is not for me, it's for you guys. So when you guys ask me to, like, I've got one person who's asked me to make the little round mittens for babies so they don't scratch their face. That's probably going to wind up being the next project video that I make. So, I mean, there are other projects coming. It's not going to be all about hats. I wanted to try and make a lot of the stuff more simple and have projects that would be quick. Like, for example, this is the baby hat that I'm going to have the what do you call it? The video that's going up after this live. This hat here will fit a newborn baby, brand new. And as I have in the video, the human fist, like a woman's fist even, is about the size of a baby's head, a newborn. So if I just put my hand in here like this, it fits perfectly. So, but anyway, this hat was actually a request and a suggestion at one point, because I had been teaching cabling, and that was one of the things that I really, really wanted to teach you guys how to do. Because I have actually heard people say, first of all, that crocheting is hard, which it can be for some people, and if you don't have the right person teaching you, it can be even worse. I'm a teacher at heart, so I enjoy being able to come up with ways to teach people and ways to explain things so that they can understand better. But I'm also very visual, so people who learn visually, that's kind of where I specialize. But yeah, so I can try to help you guys come up with ways to do things in crochet and knitting that maybe you won't see in other videos. Sorry, mittens. So are you talking about the mittens then with no fingers? Those are easy to make. Those are super, super easy to make. You just have to make the whole panel. Actually, you do it in the round. And then at some point, you're going to stop. And I'm trying to remember the construction. I can't remember the construction off the top of my head. I almost have to be doing it to make it make sense. I know someone who once they taught making the, was it the wrist? Yeah, it was the wrist. It was the band of the wrist. And then you work around in like a, what do you call it? A ribbing pattern all the way around for maybe about an inch or two, depending on the size of the person wearing it. And then you would just keep working around the hand until you got to the joint of the thumb. And then something happened where you had to skip. You had to skip some stitches and then connect it. And then you just continued working in the round all the way around. And then eventually you just made the thumb. So it's not really hard. I did your head warmer with cables. I was so proud of myself. Thank you. You're welcome. Mermaid Magic. There you go. I like that name. You're welcome. I'm glad that you were able to do it. Yeah, I try to make it easy. I try to make it so that you guys can follow along, and I try not to go too fast. Believe me, in the videos when I'm going what seems like maybe fast for some people, that's really slow to me because I've just been doing this so long that it's just like really, really quick. So in my head, everything is just going supersonic speed, and then I'm having to force myself to slow down to make sure that I'm getting across the point. Right now, I'm actually, I'd love to see some gift ideas other than just doing clothes, especially more masculine. Masculine project. I made my son a tie once with just a single crochet. So that might be something we can do. I'd have to write up a pattern for it. I'd have to sit down and come up with it, which I could. I wonder if he still has his. That would be kind of cool because then I could show you guys what it looks like. I could actually probably just go through the rows myself and figure out what I did, and then just show it to you guys, and I can do a pattern on it, and you made it easy. I impressed myself. Well, good for you. Thank you. I'm glad that you thought it was easy. Yeah, I remember the first time I learned how to make cables. I was like, I was, I don't know. Well, okay, you gotta understand there was a point in my life when I didn't know there was a such thing as a crochet cable. I thought that you only made cables in knitting. And I had seen them and thought, oh, they're so pretty, but I never thought you could cable and crochet. And then I saw a video on it. I don't remember who it was that I learned it from, but it was a long time ago. And so when I first did it, I like you, I was very proud of myself. I was like, oh my God, I did it. I was so happy because it was something different. It was more textured. And then, the more you use textured stitches, the more impressive your pieces are. They really are. Anybody can just do who knows how to crochet can just do a double crochet, or, can just do a single crochet, or whatever, but it takes a little bit more, it gives it more zest, if you will, to add those extra textures with the front post and back post double crochets. It's just that 3D effect is amazing. So now if you want to, if you wanted to make a hat that was a cable hat, I don't think I even have one here to show you. I think I gave those away. I do have videos for those other hats. They're for adults. One is for kind of a petite adult, like I want to say probably like a teenager, I guess, like I don't know, like a 10 to, well, no, I suppose that a younger child could wear it, like maybe 7 to around maybe 12, or like a petite adult woman, someone who's really short, like maybe 5 feet, and has a little bit smaller frame. I have that hat, and then I have the same exact hat made larger in a different video. So if you decide that you want to make a hat with the cables, I would suggest going and seeing them, because they work up beautifully, and they're comfortable. And of course, that last one that I did, the one that's bigger, oh, I have my own, and I love it. I love it. I really, really like it. It's probably the best fitting hat that I've ever had. Just because of the way that I changed the math in the body, because I wanted something that was going to be a little bit wider here, because some people don't have, like the crown of your head. Some people have a square head, and I hate to have to say it that way, but this part of the head right here, some people's heads on the sides are just a little bit more wide. So trying to get a hat to go down and fit comfortably without it feeling like it's stretching or adding pressure in that spot, that can be kind of hard. So you have to change the structure of the hat in that area. And I think that with that other pattern, if you go down and you look at the videos, it's the one with the red hat. So there's also there's the right-handed and left-handed versions. And I've been doing that on all the videos now. I'm adding left-handed versions for people. I started noticing that people were doing that in other videos, and I thought, maybe I should tackle that because my son, I love this boy. He is, when it comes to editors or editing software, he's a flippin' genius. he is able to flip the videos around. So I'm gonna give you the little, just those of you that are watching this, somebody who watches it later will find out. So there's a portion in the front of the video and at the back of the video that stay the same. They don't move. And then there's parts in the middle of the video where you start to see me crocheting. Well, from that point on, between the two white fades, there's a white fade at the beginning, a white fade at the end. And between those two white fades, he just flips the video backward. So now we have a left-handed version of the video. And which I think is great because, you know, there's a lot of visual learners out there, and sometimes, I mean, kudos to those who are left-handed and can follow a right-handed video. Because when I watch the left-handed videos, I mean, I'm right-handed. When I watch the left-handed videos and try to see what they're doing, I can't, my brain doesn't turn around that way. It's like trying to read backward. Now you can kind of get it, but, you know, you got to really focus on it. So, but anyway, so yeah, I have those, and I think that it's probably been a good idea because I've had a lot of people watch those videos. So that's a secret. That's a secret. Yeah, no. I'm not in here being ambidextrous, you know, doing it left-handed, doing it twice. I don't have time to do the video twice. I don't have a whole lot of time. Anyway, you guys will notice I do a lot of lives now because I don't have time to edit. I'm working 30 hours a week outside of the home, and so I don't really have the time to put in to all of the editing and all of the YouTube stuff. So I've just been taking advantage of the lives in order to just get those videos up. Hey, Vicky. Oh, you were the one that... I wasn't even looking at the name on there. Vicky's my niece. I wasn't even looking at the pictures. I'm just reading. It's like, I hope you're still around, kiddo. Okay. Anyway, so, yeah. Let's see, what else can I talk about? Oh. Dollar store. I found these at Dollar Tree. Right by my house. And I only got two because I really don't need any more yarn. God knows I don't need more yarn. I have a bunch in my closet, and I've got some on another in the office in the other room. So this is actually made by Premier, and they had these little, let's see, what is it? Okay, they're 4 medium yarn, worsted weight. They're 131 yards, 100% acrylic, and this one is in blush, and they have this one in smoke. But they had other colors too. There was I think blues, and there were, I think, maybe red. I know there were yellow. I don't remember any other colors, but I loved this rose, and I thought, or it's not rose, it's called blush, but I love this color pink because it's very soft, and I thought, you know what, I'm sure I'll use it for something, especially with like the knitting tutorials. Has anybody here been watching the knitting tutorials? Because I'm trying to make them really simple for you. Knitting is not hard. Knitting is a different concept when it comes to motor skills. That's about the only thing. You're still using 2 hands, but you're using them differently. So it's not really a hard concept to get. You still have a foundation row, and you're just working stitches. So it's not hard. It's just you have to kind of wrap your mind around how it's the same, but it's different. That's about it. Oh, you're listening at work. Don't get yourself in trouble. Don't do it. But thank you for joining in, though. You haven't joined my lives yet. See, I'm going to be doing lives every Saturday. So I did them on Fridays, but a lot of people couldn't make it. So we just switched it over to Saturdays. Uncle Ken and Steven and Belle and Brandon are all going to a movie tonight. So I'm here by myself with no noise. Not yet, but I plan to. Yeah, you know what? Definitely check out the knitting. I hope that I'm going slow enough for everybody. It's so different. See, I used to teach kids crocheting. I never taught anybody knitting. Actually, that's not true. I taught my children how to knit, but they didn't really grasp onto it so quickly. They liked the crocheting, I think, because the stitches got bigger faster, and so there was less work involved. I think that's probably why they liked it. Now, my daughter Isabella took what she learned and became a magician with crocheting and knitting. I mean, the girl can crochet anything, she can knit anything, and it's just, you know, she blows me away. But knitting is, I think knitting is more relaxing than crocheting. And the reason is because, like, let's say you have a hook and you have your yarn, and the way that you have to hold your yarn and you're doing this, depending on how you hold your hook, because I know that some people, like Isabella, she holds her hook like this, and she's doing this, and her shoulder and all the way up her elbow all the way up to her shoulder starts to really get stiff, and it starts to hurt, and it causes her a lot of pain. So she actually stopped crocheting for a while because it was causing her issues. With knitting, especially if you don't use straight needles, if you get the ones with the cords that are like the interchangeable, I can't find mine right now, they're probably buried in one of my boxes here on the desk. If you get the interchangeable needles, all of the weight of the yarn goes into the cord below it, so you have no weight on your needles, and so now you've got both hands carrying the same amount of weight at all times, so there's no stress in the arms at all. Hey Daniela, you are in Canada, right? I think I remember that. Glad you could join this time. So, okay, how many of you guys are actually seeing my messages on YouTube in the feed? I'm trying to think of what that's called. Let me look. Is it called Home? Yeah, it's called Home. Okay, so like in the app, when you're on the app and you're scrolling through, you can see, like right now I see Fiber Theory, my last one that I put up. I did go ahead and let y'all know like what time I would be doing the live, so sometimes I'll start it maybe a minute or two early and just kind of get the ball rolling a little early so you guys can jump in if you're already ready to go. So I'm now learning to knit as well as crochet. I like them both. Well, good. See, to me, I feel like knitting is more soothing. I don't know. I think it's because you don't have the weight, of all the yarn in like one hand, or like in one arm, or, doing all the work with one arm. You're doing it with both. And so it distributes the weight to both sides. Oh, you joined a knit club. Good for you, girl. I think you'll like it. I think, and everybody that I know that, let me adjust this camera a little bit. Everybody that I know that started knitting has said that they would never go back to not knitting again, because they have actually enjoyed it that much. And what's great is that with knitting, when you just find that little, like, when you get into your comfort zone with knitting, some people like to do the English style where you hold the yarn with your fingers like this, and you just bring it around the needle, and then, to me that's an extra step that's not needed, but it just depends on how you learned and what you do, or how you feel more comfortable. I learned English style from my grandma, and I did not stay with it because I didn't like the way that it was so slow going using the English style. Now, I will say that when I started learning continental, I was hooked. And then when I started learning how to do what's called flicking, it's where you hold your needles like this. Let me grab my needles here, my drumsticks. Say you're knitting, and you have your yarn on this finger and you go around like this. So flicking is where your finger does all the work. So you're bringing off the stitches and you're going in, you're flicking, and you're bringing off the stitches, and then you just go faster, 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 faster. And that's what I like about it. And it's actually my go-to way of knitting now. Continental style is perfect for people who crochet. And the reason is because of the way you hold your yarn. And I've heard some people say, well, I don't want to do continental because it's confusing. See what that one person say to me. It was confusing because she was a crocheter or something like that. And I thought, it can't be confusing if you're a crocheter because you're holding your yarn exactly the same way. Now, yes, you do have something else in this hand besides yarn, but it's not that big a deal. It's really not that big a deal. See if I can find some yarn. Really quick. Oh, no, I've already shown that. I'll leave that be. Let me grab this yarn really quick. I'm going to see if I can show you what I mean. I found this yarn at the dollar store and I got really excited. I got so excited that I bought 2 of them and I didn't even need them. Have you seen those women on Pinterest or on Instagram who have those massively huge yarn walls? We're like, there's like thousands of dollars that have been spent in yarn, you know, and they have like these like a cubby wall, and every single one of them just got yarn stuffed so neatly, color coordinated, you know. It's like, really? Man, it's like, I envy you. If I had that much yarn, I probably would never do anything else but, you know, do projects that had to do with yarn. Hey, Emily. Did I ever knit? Oh, have I ever knitted a teddy? No. No, I have never knitted a teddy or knitted animal. No, it's not my genre for knitting. Some people, honestly, some people are more like garment makers. Some people are stuffed animal makers. It's kind of like you sort of fall into a groove. You know, like you kind of get to a point where you get to a point where you're really comfortable with one type of thing that you make, and as you're making it, it soothes you. Like for me, it's hats and scarves and sweaters and blankets and, you know, ponchos and things like that. Making animals, I think it's because I have to work with other materials like polyfill and things like that. It just kind of, I don't know, it makes me kind of want to cringe a little bit. So I know that my daughter Alyssa did make one. She made my son, this was a long time ago because they were little. She made my son a guinea pig and he named it Cloud. She just used some white yarn that I had, and she just crocheted this little guinea pig, and she kept stuffing it, and she got it sewn up and everything, and it was so cute. It wasn't great, but it was cute, and I just remember her being so proud of that thing. And I just like to be able to just continuously knit back and forth, or just crochet back and forth, or have fewer steps to have to take into things. I guess it's partly self-gratification, the need for it in some ways. Like that's why hats and scarves are good for me, because it doesn't take forever to make them. And then, you know, you have some people that are just like, oh, I could never make things like that. I have to make stuffed animals and things I can, you know, add those little beady eyes to. And yeah, so, but yeah, to answer your question, no, I've never done that. I've thought about it. Yes, that is true. And Vicki, which dollar store, by the way? Oh, that's the one over here on 7th Street and Union Hills. That's the one over by my house. It's, let me see. Okay, so it's the northeast corner. It's over by where the Goodwill is, and there's a Little Caesar's Pizza in there, and some other stuff. It's like in a L-shaped building. But anyway, yeah. So, oh, and this is what it looks like, by the way, just so that it's a Premier yarn. You can buy Premier yarn at Joann's Fabric as well, but you're going to pay like $3 or $4 more per skein. So I would say if you can get it at the dollar store, just, you know, get a cart and just go like this with your arms and just dump it, you know, in there. And just do it until you have maybe $30 worth of yarn. And you'll be set for a while. But anyway, I wanted to show you guys the flicking method for knitting. The thing is these knitting needles are so clunky and big, but that's okay. I'm just going to do a real quick, let's see. Okay, so flicking is basically, and just what I just did. Don't ever cast on like that. Don't ever cast on like that, because your foundation is not stable, by the way. Where am I? I am in Arizona. I'm in Phoenix. So, okay. I'm just going to start now. When I hold my yarn, I like to wrap it around my middle finger and then rest it on top of this finger, because it gives me the best tension, at least for me. Everybody's going to be different. Not everybody's going to be able to handle doing it the same way. But that's how I do it, and it gives me, like I said, the right tension for what I'm doing. So I want to be in camera here. So your finger never leaves your hand never leaves the needle. So you're going into the stitch, your finger wraps the yarn around there, and then you just finish off the stitch. I gotta get back up here in the camera. It's so awkward. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to show you guys how to do this in an actual video one of these days. Okay. Not good for the shoulders. Anyway, but that's what it is. That's flicking. Flicking is just where your hands don't leave the needles and your finger is the only thing that does the work. So, actually, this didn't turn out too bad even with that horrible foundation. It's just that you have this long lead in between here, and that should not be there. This is how I was taught to do this by my grandma. This is how she learned how to cast on when she was younger, and that was before the long tail cast-ons and stuff. Daytona Beach. How warm is it out there? Because you know what? I think Arizona forgot what winter was. I mean, over the years we've had pretty good winters, but I'm telling you what. This year it seems like it can't make up its mind. It's winter, it's spring. It's winter, it's spring. It can't decide. I'm just curious as to what people's weather looks like, because you know, one day we're wearing sweaters, the next day we're in shorts. So anyway, that's what flicking is in knitting. And yeah, I'll be teaching all that stuff. Right now, I'm sort of awarded only time really just to kind of do one video a week. But I'm hoping that because of being able to do live videos, that I'm going to be able to put up more videos throughout the week, meaning that like I can do like little tiny tutorials, which I think will help you guys tremendously. Especially what I like to do is teach a tutorial on how to do something right before I teach you guys how to make a project using that stitch, because now you're focused on one area, and so your mind isn't wandering all over the place. And I got to know the double crochet and the single crochet, and I got to be able to do cables over here. I won't do that to you. I'm trying to make simple, because then as we grow as a channel, and by the way, we're at like 6,600 now. So we kind of started to slow down in subscribers, and views and all that started to go down. So I wasn't sure what was going on. I don't know if YouTube's doing something right now, because they do that sometimes where it literally makes no sense. Or like I'll be losing subscribers and go, what happened? But sometimes they get rid of bots. So, or like, what do they call them? They're not real subscribers. I don't know much about that stuff, but anyway, so, but we're like 6,600. But as this channel is growing, I want there to be more projects that are going to be big and wide and vast. And I want to do blankets with you guys. I want to teach you guys how to make edgings for blankets, and teach you guys how to design things for yourself. Especially people that are super you could learn how to design some of your own stuff and make your own patterns and sell your stuff. When I put up my new Etsy store, the one where I have all my patterns at, I fought myself on that. I thought, no one's going to buy anything. The last Etsy store I had did not do well, and I'm not going to put myself through that again. So I was like, no, no, not going to happen. Oh, you buy from the dollar store too, Daniela? It does. Well, I mean, if you can find, I mean, like they have Aldi's. I don't know how many people have Aldi's where they are. We had them in Texas when we used to live out there. But they used to have yarns like this. And they had the bigger skeins too of different types of yarn. It was just random yarns just kind of showed up whenever. And they were usually in the bags. Like you get like 3 or 4 skeins in one bag. So that was nice. Yes, I understood what you did say. So so anyway, but you know what? Yeah, you guys, I do take down, ideas from you guys. If you have any types of ideas of things that you want to make, or things that you'd like to learn how to do, I'm willing to sit down and see if, I mean, it may be something I don't know how to do, and maybe I can learn how. But one of the things I do want to teach is Tunisian crochet. I don't know if you guys know what Tunisian crochet is, but I have since fallen in love. I think Tunisian crochet is kind of like, I want to say like a combination between knitting and crocheting, because it's with a hook, and it's got a long cord, and it's got a little button or bead at the end of it so that your stitches don't fall off. But you have all your stitches on there, just like if you were knitting. You have all your stitches all the way across. Your whole foundation is there. And then you just work the yarn through your loops all the way down. There's like, you're not even making stitches. There's literally nothing that you're doing. It would be so simple for somebody who had a hard time with crocheting and knitting, because it is so simple. You literally are pulling yarn through loops. That's it. I'm new from Long Island, New York. Hi, Josie. Love it, Tunisian. Oh, so you do it, yeah. Tunisian is fun. It's fun, and there's actually patterns. I mean, who'd have thunk it, right? I remember going online once and saying, what's Tunisian crochet, and wanting to find information about this thing I'd never heard of. This was probably, I don't know, 15 years ago, at least. And so when I was on the internet and I was looking up Tunisian crochet, I mean, all the stuff started popping up, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Tunisian crochet and Bavarian crochet. Bavarian crochet scares me, actually. It's one of those things where you see it and you go, there's no way in the world I'm ever going to get that. There's no way in the world I'm ever going to be able to be that good of a crocheter. But I mean, you never know till you try. The one thing I haven't tackled yet, and I'm debating whether I should or not, is the corner to corner Afghans. I'm not going to say I'm not a fan of it. I think corner to corner is beautiful. I think that it has its place. I think that you can make great patterns in there, but it's just not my thing. Now, not to say that I would never teach it. I don't have a problem learning something and then teaching it. Because once I get it, then it's like, okay, this is how you do it. But it's just kind of not my thing. Since I was 10, I've been crocheting. I am 45 and a half now. So that's, somebody do the math. I don't even know anymore. No, 35 years I've been crocheting. I mean, there was at one point where I kind of stopped because I didn't have money to buy yarn or tools and stuff. So I said, I can't do this right now, so just going to put it away and think about it and not do it. But at some point, I started it up again, and I never put the hooks down. And ever since then, I've just been crocheting. You're 71. So you've been crocheting a long time then, huh? My grandma taught me when I was 10. She was making something. I don't remember what I think she was making a cover for an ottoman, actually. She was doing it in the round. And I had asked her, Grandma, what are you doing? And she was like, I'm crocheting. And I said, what's that? And so she said, well, sit down and I'll show you. So she grabs another hook and she grabs another thing of yarn and she gives it to me and says, now do what I do. Copy me. And I did. And I was horrible at it, to be honest with you. And you teach others too. Good for you. Good for you. We need more people to teach. One of the things that I get a lot from, and it surprises me so much, because this channel, I had a debate with myself to decide whether or not I was going to start this channel or not back in 2015. I didn't think that I was going to do it at first, and I kept telling myself, yeah, but there's people like your mom out there. Good night, Mermaid Magic. Oh, well, come back next Saturday because we'll do it again. Have a good night. What was I saying? I don't just love that when you lose your train of thought. So much fun. Somebody remind me what I was saying. I got interrupted. Oh, I was talking about my channel. I never thought that it would do what it's done. Honestly, I didn't think that I would get probably more than, I don't know, maybe overall 500 subscribers. You know, because it was going to be for people who used to say, I can't crochet, it's too hard. I just don't get it. And I thought, there's people out there that need help. And it's not hard. And it's just a matter of having the right teacher. But I didn't know if I was up to the task. I didn't know anything at that point. And I didn't know how to use YouTube. Not very well. So I was debating and then decided, you know what? I'll start it. I'll put up a couple little videos and just see where it goes from there. And I just never expected the kind of growth that I've gotten. I mean, the channel is monetized. Overwhelming support so far of having a monetized channel has been, just having that support from people has been great, because I was afraid people were going to say, oh, she's taking advantage of people because I had the channel monetized, or here's another ad, you know, that I got to sit through. And so I've never had anybody say that to me. I've never had anybody bring it to my attention or treat me horribly for doing that. And I think it was like some kind of an insecurity on my part, I guess. But I haven't had anybody say anything bad about it. And even recently I had somebody ask me or tell me, you need to start a Patreon. And I thought, what in the world? Why would I start a Patreon? I'm getting paid through YouTube to do this channel. Why would I start a Patreon? But they're like, well, because I had one person telling me, and I've had three people ask me through email, actually. And one person says, you're a teacher, you need to be paid. And I thought, yeah, but I still get paid through ads if people watch the ads. So why would somebody want to donate, you know, to the channel? And so, and then I had another person, weirdly enough, ask me, I think it was about a week ago. I think it was about a week ago now, because I had two other people pop in and ask me that. I don't know if they all know each other, but they had two people pop in. It was like one person about a week ago, one person 3 days ago, actually. So it was 3 days ago, on Wednesday, I believe. And asking me these questions about Patreon. And I thought, I've never even thought about having a Patreon. I've never thought about any of that kind of stuff. It's not what the channel has ever been about, but apparently those people out there that want to support this channel because they like it. They like what I'm doing, I guess. So, I promise to keep giving you guys the content that I'm giving you, and to keep teaching the way that I do as long as it's working and you guys are enjoying it and don't get tired of my voice, because I get sick of hearing me. So, do you go to crochet places like bazaars? I do not. I'm not the most social person in the world. I don't get out a lot to do those kinds of things. If my mom were to say, hey, let's go do such and such, I'd probably do it. But unless I'm invited, I usually don't. I don't have a lot of places around here that do that sort of thing, and a lot of the stuff that they do like that is up in Prescott, where they have a lot of that kind of stuff, or in Sedona, but that's like an hour to an hour and a half. Let's see, hour and a half, about an hour and a half to 2 hours away from where I live. And I don't really go that direction. And like I said before too, I work outside the home 30 hours a week, so I really don't have much other of a life than YouTube. That is so sad. Other than my husband and my son and my 3 daughters, and one's in Texas. So yeah, I don't really have much of a life beyond all this. So I have actually joined crochet and knitting groups before, but I don't know, it wasn't my thing. I think it's because I just don't really have this, or at least I didn't have this need to start talking to people. And I guess I just sort of I was kind of like that person, kind of like against the wall and, doing my thing over here. And then people might be like, hi, I'm so-and-so. And I'd be like, hi, So I probably looked really stupid sitting there like this, kind of keeping to myself. That's you too. Yeah. Not someone who's not willing to really be a part of something. I don't know. People that know me know, they understand me. People who in the channel don't. Hi, it's nice to see you. Out of the blue. I like your name. But people that know me know that I have pretty bad anxiety, unfortunately. But I don't take medication for it, and I do have crocheting and knitting, which relaxes me. And I do have I have the ability mentally to talk myself down. So I don't need help with, medically for that kind of thing. My mother, my grandfather, they were both seriously anxiety ridden and took medication. But I've seen where that can take a person, and I thought, I have the same problem, but I'm not going to put myself through that. I don't want to put those types of chemicals in me. So I just stay away from it. But I do other things. I breathe, I sit and I don't really want to call it meditating. I don't really meditate, but I just kind of sit with my eyes closed, and I'll just take deep breaths, and I'll just relax. And then I'll think of something that is, like with my eyes closed, I'll think of something that is really, really calming. And that's something that I like to do when I start to feel a little overwhelmed or a little anxious. But I have to do that in public, even at a grocery store. It's pretty sad. I'll be in a grocery store and there's like 15 people in the aisle, and I'll be like, nope. I turn the cart around and I leave. And I go down another aisle that maybe has 3 people in it. And then I'm okay. So, you learn how to kind of combat. If introversion were an Olympic sport, you'd take gold. Thank you. Yes. I'll have to make up a medal for that and wear it. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, I am quite an introvert, unfortunately. So what's funny is when I met my husband, he was really an introvert. I mean, it was like ridiculous. And I was the outgoing one when I was a teenager. And then I had children, and I guess my life became about them. And so that's where I spent all my time, was with my kids, and I even homeschooled with them, and I did college classes online at home, and we became homebodies. We became little hermits, and for a little while, although they did go to public school and they did socialize and do stuff, but and I had a job outside the home. But no, I think that life just sort of brought it on because as a teenager I was fine. I was very outgoing, ridiculously immature. I mean, a chatty Cathy, someone who could not be shut up. So, but then, you know, things happen, and then you just, you know, things happen, things change. But now my husband's the one who's outgoing. I guess we rubbed off on each other, and like I'm like he was and he's like I was. Crafting is very healthy. It is one of the best parts of me. I love that. What's wrong with introverts? Nothing is wrong with introverts. Dang it. Nothing. We are awesome people. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with introverts. There's nothing wrong with it. But this type of a platform, it makes me have to be a little more extroverted. So it's really been a blessing, I think. At least for me, to have a place to do that. And so, just being able to have people, because again, it's like I don't really reach out. So having something like this where we, like I have people, like, I mean, this is probably the most people I've had in a live, like, ever in the entire history of this channel. So I'm just saying. You know, I have to put myself out there. I can't let myself just, you know, go into a hole and die. So it's okay. You're sweet. Oh, thank you. My husband tells me I'm sweet too. He's like, you're so sweet. But, well, do you guys have any questions about anything? I'm just sitting here just rambling and talking, and, nothing wrong with being introverted. I am too. Isn't it funny, though, when you're introverted, people think you're shy? It's like, I'm not shy. I just don't choose to be a part of your world. That sounds so mean. Now that it came out of my mouth. Oh, my God. Okay, so I did not mean that. No, I mean, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. For some people, it's just really super simple. It's, you know, first nature, just to run out there and be a part of everybody and everything. And for some people, it's like, no, I think I'll sit back and read a book. I think I'll sit back and crochet over here. Or, I mean, you know, introverts are really good one-on-one with people, but not really in large groups. If I'm in a large group, I feel like I'm going to throw up. So, yep, I said throw up on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, it just can become too overwhelming. It's like everybody's breathing the same air. I can't breathe. It can become very, very uncomfortable. But anyway, yeah, this channel has been fantastic, and you know what? I'm probably going to listen to the subscribers, and I'm probably going to start a Patreon, and it'll be there. I mean, I'm not going to be there. Please give to my Patreon. I'm desperate. I'm not desperate. It'll be there. If somebody, you know, I'll be like, hey, you know, I've got a Patreon. If you guys want to donate, feel free. You know, it's not a big deal. It does help with yarn, and it helps with getting, I love doing product reviews, and I love shopping on Amazon and at different places where I can pick up really cool things like yarn spinners, okay, yarn bowls, you know, things like this. Things that I can do reviews on. So, I mean, but the thing is, I don't really want to take that out of my own income. You know what I mean? So, having that YouTube or the Patreon money would definitely help, you know, to be able to just get the few things. And I mean, nobody would have to donating $1 a month. I mean, that's like literally nothing. That wouldn't even be a problem. But eventually, one of these days, I'll have a yarn wall, and we'll have a beautiful, beautiful backdrop. Which favorite thing about crochet? Oh man, I gotta think about that one. My favorite thing about crocheting. It's probably, you know, I think it depends on what I'm crocheting. If I'm crocheting a hat or scarf, like I said before in the earlier part of the video, I really like doing those things because they're instant gratification. They are projects that just whip up really fast and you're done. So I think that's why I like those kind of projects, because I know that it'll be done quickly and I can move on to the next one. because unfortunately I'm that person who has like 3 or 4 projects going at one time. If it's a blanket, I like it because I think I enjoy watching it work itself up. Blankets for you. I enjoy with blankets, I like to see how they work up, how they eventually become a thing. You know, it's like it was nothing but a piece of string, and now, you know, it's this long thing that I can lay in my lap and be warm. But I like to get creative with blankets. I like to try different things. So I don't know. I guess it's just with crocheting. I guess if it's like one thing, it would probably be overall just the creativity of it, like what you can do with it, whether it's a short or long project, and being able to design something. That's really a big deal for me. I'm really surprised though. You know, when I put this new Etsy store up, I didn't think anybody was going to buy those patterns. I really didn't. I didn't think anybody's going to buy them because honestly, even though I enjoy designing, it takes a lot of time to write up a pattern, because you don't only just write it up, you have to test it and make sure it works. Make sure you didn't forget something. You go back, read through it, grab more yarn, make up the thing, you know, follow along, and it's a tedious process. So for me, I kind of wish I had a pattern writer, but crocheting, yeah, it's super creative. You can get creative with it. You can make pretty cool stuff. Have you ever heard of freeform crochet, where there's literally no rhyme or reason to what you're doing? You just do whatever stitch you feel at the moment, and then it just winds up being God only knows what it is. I saw freeform crochet years and years ago and thought, that is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. But I guess, you know, art is subjective. Design is subjective. Can you make a star blanket? I don't know. I've never tried. I bet you I could. I bet you I could. There would be a lot of stops and starts, but I bet I could do it. That's a lot of yarn having to be sewn in, by the way. That's a lot of yarn being sewn in, because you've got the 5 points or the 6 points or however many pointed star you have. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that would definitely be a lot to finish. But it would be pretty. I've seen them before. Just never tackled one before. Zigzag blanket. I would like to know how. Zigzag. Are you talking a chevron? The chevron blankets, the ones that go like this. I'm never in the camera when I do this. You mean the kind that goes up and down like that? Those are chevron. Actually, I'll teach that. I've made several. I can teach those. One of the things I want to do too is, actually, there's a lot of free patterns out there that has some great stuff, right? And I think that I want to do like Mikey from the Crochet Crowd does. He, you know, goes on Yarn Inspirations and pulls out the, you know, free patterns and teaches them on his channel. And that is something that I would consider doing as well, because the patterns are already written and they're free, and there's no legal anything saying that I can't teach how to do it on the channel. As long as you know, you should give kudos or whatever to the person who wrote the pattern if it's available. But you know, do you have any samples of things you've made? I do. I won't get up to get the other ones, but this is actually the hat that's being taught in the project for this week. The video for this hat is going up after this live. It's already uploaded. It's just set to private, and I have to make the thumbnail and get all the other things together. I already wrote the pattern for it. Love Mikey. I already wrote the pattern up for it. It's up on Etsy. I had to wait till that was done so I could put the iCard in at the top in the beginning of the intro of the video. So, yeah. being sick doesn't help anything. When you're sick and all of a sudden there's like 2 weeks of all these videos that didn't get done, and then you're sitting there going, no, because now it's like I feel like I have to make up for all these videos that are missing suddenly. Um, but yeah, that's something that I'm thinking of just doing is trying to get just some free patterns. I have a whole bunch of them that I printed out from years ago, and I want to make baby sweaters, and I want to do baby like layette sets, and do like what do you call it, booties and mittens, and eventually the channel will evolve into all that kind of thing. But I started from the ground up, so I need to take it in increments upward, so that there's no like learning gaps in between. And that's where I am at right now, is we're still kind of in the hat department. And there's so many hats I want to show you guys how to make, like, hats with ears. And I want to teach you how to make one of those cat hats. And, there's just so many different kinds. I want to teach you guys how to make character hats. I made a Grinch hat. Oh gosh, when was that? 2014, I think. That thing was so cute and it was so popular, and I thought, I'm gonna make a bunch of these. But then I got really irritated having to make all of the stuff that you have to like embroider onto the hat, so I just stopped making them. But teaching it on a channel like this would be great, and I have a list of the hats and the different kind of projects that I want to teach, so that and when I get ideas, I write them down. So that we can start really just kind of building up a full portfolio of stuff. And it isn't going to be just hats or just scarves. And eventually I want to start being able to teach things like the crocodile stitch and things like that. Those are hard. They're really hard. So it's super advanced stitches, but right now the channel is not in an advanced place. You know what I mean? It's kind of intermediate right now. So, and we still have a lot to do in that intermediate stage. And then as we move up and move forward, then eventually we'll be in that advanced stage. And then we'll have all those videos below and all the playlists for beginner, novice, intermediate, advanced, all these different levels of learning and projects. That's kind of what I've been wanting to do. I have made dog sweaters before. Dog sweaters they're a little hard to do, because you have to have you got to have a pretty good idea, pretty good handle on the dog. The size, the measurements, kind of knowing. Like, I have a dachshund, and he is long, and his chest sticks out like this. It's like a barrel chest, So it's really, really hard to make sweaters for him. I have to make sweaters for him where I actually piece them together, or where I have to do a lot of increases around the chest if I'm doing it in the round. So, but I'm not opposed to designing and developing a type of sweater or jacket for a dog. Something that you could kind of like, how like horses, how they lay the blankets over the top of the horse so they don't get cold in the back. Talking about something where you kind of like put the dog's arms through the space, with maybe like a little bit of a cuff going down to the elbow, so they can't just walk out of it, and have it high enough up under the neck where it doesn't choke them, but like where they put their head through, but it's kind of like just the top part of it. So it's just the arm area, right around the chest here, around the neck, and then down the back, and then maybe have like a strap that kind of goes around and buttons. I had something like that once for our dog Eli, and it came out really, really cute, and I didn't even know what I was doing at that time. So there is one dog sweater that is taught. I'm not sure if it's Red Heart or if it's Yarn Inspirations. Can't remember which one it is. I think Mikey teaches it, but I'm not positive. I don't think he had a video for it up when I needed it. But I did get the pattern. It was free. And I did make it, and I made a couple of them. I even sold one. And apparently it fit really well. So I guess it just depends on the pattern that you're using. And then you know, some people just already have all the math figured out. I'm sure as time goes on, there'll be like dachshund sweaters, basset hound sweaters, because they really do need to be designed separately. You can't put, it's not a one size fits all type of thing. A German Shepherd isn't gonna be able to wear what a, you know, what a basset hound wears, because bassets are, their legs are literally that long and they're just really floppy and dopey, and you know, they have these big barrel bodies, and so you know, you'd have to have a really good pattern, maybe something that has like different sizes in the pattern, so that you could do like maybe a small sweater, maybe you could do a large sweater. Some people just, when they make a pattern, they put one size, and you're like, that doesn't help me. So now in the patterns that I write, I try to add sizes, and most of them I have sizes, but in some of them I just say, you know what, just go up on a hook size. Because math and we get along about that much. But I don't want to have to sit there and try to figure out the math. I'd rather measure, and I would rather, like, for example, what's funny is that these two hats, notice how they're different sizes. They were made with the exact same hook. Different kinds of yarn. Yarn is funny that way. Some yarn is, while they're both like a size 4 worsted weight yarn, this is thicker. This is just a thicker, I don't know why, it's just a thicker yarn. So this hat, visibly, it looks larger, but it was made exactly the same way, same amount of rows, everything, but in the same hook, size H hook, and one is smaller than the other. In fact, if I bring this over here, you'll see that there's this much space. I'm sorry, this much more space right here on the side. If you were to make this hat with a size I hook, it would be even bigger. So sometimes you only have to change a hook size on a pattern if you want it just a little bit bigger. I've had people ask me, do you have any sizes for do you have any sizes for this or that? Like, say that one hat, that one white cable hat that I have. I had people ask me, do you have this hat any bigger? And I'm like, no, but you can go up on a hook size. Just follow the pattern, just go up a size on the hook, and you're good. And it's worked. But then also, you know, you have people who, like, if that doesn't work, if the head that you're making it for is needing, you know, a different structure hat made for it, then you have to do the math for it. It's just that simple. And of course, you have things like cables have to have a certain exact amount of stitches. You can't just go around, you know, like you do with double crochets, you know, just make however many. Oh, it's good to go. There's increases that you have to make. There's, you know, there's things you got to do. So, and now this hat, by the way, I will just say, and I'm going to probably wind up ending this. We're going to go till 7:30 if you guys are okay with it, because I'm still getting people asking questions and stuff. So we'll do 7:30. This hat has absolutely no back post double crochets in it whatsoever. This hat is only cable. Cable after cable after cable after cable. So, and what's interesting is even though there's no middle stitches between the cables, it's still nice and closed. See right, which direction here? Hold on a second, let me see if I can find it. So right in here, there's no stitches between. It's just the way that it works up, because the cables in this area here is where the cables are the widest, and then the cable over here is wide, and then at this point here the cables come together, so it closes it up, and it looks like there's stitches between it, but there's not. And this was an idea that I came up with a while ago. I thought, I wonder what it would look like if I only did cabling, and now I know. But it's really cool, and actually I think that blankets like this would be gorgeous. What do you think? With just cabling, with no other kind of stitching, just a cable. Do your setup row at the bottom, and then just cable every single row. Of course, you'd have to do front post double crochets on the front side of the blanket, turn it around, work the other side, and all back post double crochets. But you know what? It still would look just like this on the right side, and this is what it looks like on the inside. So it looks very different. And if you're just crazy enough, you might wear this on the outside. And then the top looks like a swirly. Kinda, sorta. But it is, I do love these, and I think that they're going to be nice and warm for any baby that wears them, I think. But yeah, I'll get this video put up as soon as we get done with the live. I'll go in there and do all the other stuff I have to do. I don't know what my hair is doing tonight. And then you guys will have something to watch. I wouldn't blame y'all if you just went to bed tonight and said, oh, I'll watch the video in the morning. Because it's been a very long day for me, and you know, I've been running all over town, and I had to get stuff done elsewhere, and then I had to come home and get the videos done, and so I wanted to be here for you guys tonight, which, like I said, this is the best turnout I've had so far. So thank you guys for talking to me and listening to me ramble. I don't know if you saw them. Oh, let me see if I turn the chair just the right way. Can you see my kitty? Cass. Hi, buddy. Oh my goodness. He's usually the star of the show. Hi, baby. You're so pretty. Say hi to everybody. Wave your fuzzy paw. Say hi. He's such a good boy. I love that animal. And there's a black and white one running around here too. Somewhere. But anyway. So, does anybody have any other questions or any other ideas, or or do you have a favorite store you like to shop at for yarn? Do you have a favorite stitch that you like to use in crocheting? Have the knitting tutorials that I put up, have those been easy? Any suggestions on how I can change them and make them better? Like I said, we'll stay in here till 7:30. That's only about 13 minutes more, so I don't have anything else to say right now, so it's all up to y'all. You're gonna have to fill in the board here. Make sure I didn't miss anybody's conversation here. Oh, I didn't see yours, Daniela. Me too. A lot of anxiety where I can't function. You know what? Honestly, the best thing to do is just sit when you can and just do some breathing exercises. It helps. It just calms, it slows your heart rate, and it brings your body temperature down a little bit. It's better for you. If you're somebody who likes to run or exercise, it's a really great thing to do also. You can do that, and that will help bring anxiety down as well. What else? Like I said, I don't take any kind of medications for it. I just do things naturally. It's really common sense. I mean, if something's bothering me, I walk away from it. Pretty much. It's just kind of a no-brainer. You know, you have to just kind of be in control of it. You have to will yourself to be in control of it and say, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to have this problem because I don't deserve to have this problem. Like, I'm going to calm down. I'm going to relax. I'm going to chill. That's what I'm going to do. And that's going to be the end of it. Because sometimes what will happen, well, and I don't know, you may have had this happen to you. I have to me. Is that you get, your anxiety becomes so bad you have panic attacks. So, and that's not a place we want to be. That is a miserable place to be. So, I hope everything works out for you, and I wish you the best with that. So, You know, and another thing that works for me too is to sit down and close my eyes and think of a place that I wish I was, or think of something that I wish I could be doing right then that would make me feel calm, and then just sort of just forget about the world around me for like a good 5 minutes. And that helps a ton. I have never done that, Josie. I have never done that. I think because I like the instant gratification type of projects, I think tablecloths for me would feel tedious and make my fingers feel like they were going to fall off. To be honest with you, I have made doilies though, I will say that, and I have used fine thread, and I did find that I liked it. It was a long project though. It was kind of like making a baby blanket for me, as far as like the amount of time that it took to get it done, because it was like a size, which one is this, is it size 10 that's thinner, or is it size 3? I can't remember anymore, it's been so many years. But anyway, the thinner yarn, not that cotton type stuff in the spool, but actual, like an actual thread. I have made doilies with that before, and they've come out so cute. I even still have them. I have around here somewhere. I have no idea where they have gotten to, but yeah, I have one or two, and they lay perfectly flat. So I know that I did them right, and that was before I even knew how to even make anything in a circle. So, oh, and that's another thing. I don't know if you guys saw it, but if there's anybody that's wanting to learn how to make magic loop, you know, to go to crochet in a circle, I have a video up for that as well that I just put up a couple days ago. So you have some from your great grandmother. Those were the best though, those antique types. Wow, because you see a lot of them in the antique shops, and they're I can't talk tonight. They're intricately made. There's a lot of I don't know. It's interesting how they don't look like they do now. Does that make sense? They seem different, the older styles maybe, but yeah. I grew up with my grandparents, so we had a lot of things like that around the house. We did have one tablecloth. It wasn't made by my grandma, but we did have one that was crocheted, and I think it belonged to her grandma. How do I find your video channel? You mean Fiber Theory? Well, I mean, if you're on the live here, then you're on my channel already. Are you subscribed, Leona? Because I mean, if you just put Fiber Theory in the search, the channel will pop up, and you just have to hit the icon, and it'll take you right to the channel. Let's see. Also, if you can't get there from there, let me see if I can. I don't know if this is going to focus, y'all. This camera has a mind of its own. Let's see if maybe I can. It's not going to do it. It would be youtube.com/C, the letter C, /Fiber Theory. If you put that up in just like a Google search engine, it'll just take you straight to the channel also. Oh, and you guys can follow me on Instagram. If you have Instagram, you can go to at @fiber_theory, and you can follow me there. And I always put all the pictures of all the stuff that I'm going to be making, so you guys will get firsthand views of what the next projects will be. Oh, okay, Leona. Yeah, I hope you subscribe. I hope that you'll go in there, and don't forget to hit the little bell on the side there. And I think when you do that, it'll give you 3 different options. And at the top it says all. You'll want to select all, because that will allow you to see all of the videos that I put up. But yeah, I have a lot planned for this channel. I didn't have anything planned for the channel when I started it, but after all of the stuff that's been going on with everything up to this point, I mean, after I hit 1,000 subscribers, it just went all of a sudden. I mean, in a year, it's, you know, we've grown 5,600 people in a year. Well, no, I'm sorry, 50, it was less than that, about 5,000 in a year. Because I think I've gotten like 600 more people just in this year. But anyway, yeah. And I mean, if you guys know other people that are trying to learn to crochet or want to learn how to knit, yeah, just send them my way. We'll, you know, I'll take care of them for you. I'll teach them this stuff. I just so you guys know how this works. When I do have videos that I have to edit, because believe me, there's a lot of ums and uhs and this kind of thing, and stopping, and then cats meowing and people talking and stuff like that. So I have to constantly clip things out just to get the video together. But my son, Steven, he has his own. He's got some YouTube channels of his own. And he is kind of a genius with these editors. He can do things in an editor that I can't even imagine that they can actually do. It's just weird. So I have him help me with my channel, and he's the one who adds the music in. And I say, you know, lower the music to where you can just hear it and it's soothing, but it's not overpowering my voice, because people want to hear what I'm saying when I'm teaching. So he makes sure it's nice and low, and he likes to pull it up a little bit when I'm just doing, you know, stitches and no talking. And it kind of brings up the entertainment value a little bit, I guess. But he has been so great helping me with all of it. I mean, there's so many things that I see on there, and I go, I can't believe that's my video, because I didn't do it. I did the teaching part, but he put a bunch of stuff together for me. Now what I do is I go through and I edit the parts out that I don't want in there. And then I go through and take down timestamps of like, well, at this timestamp we need to change this or whatever. But I have him do that stuff because he's the detailed one when it comes to the editor. So the edited videos are really, I guess they just mean a lot to me, because it's a time that my son and I get to spend together that, you know, we wouldn't normally. And I appreciate him very much for helping me out with that. And like I said, he has his own 2 YouTube channels. He's got one that he just started the other day. He's a gamer. And unless you're a gamer, you're not going to get into any of this stuff. He's 20 years old. He enjoys specific things. And so that's the kind of stuff he does on his channel. But he's really goofy. He's really silly. And he loves making people laugh. He loves doing skits. And so right now what he's doing is he's going to move all the gaming content from one channel onto his new one, I guess, at some point. Eventually, I think they'll all be over on the new channel, which is called Wrathfinder, by the way. Just in case you're wondering. His other channel is called The Impressionist, and unless you are a person that can handle a potty mouth, I would not watch his stuff. And it's not because I don't want him getting views. I wish people would watch his stuff, because he's actually, I'm not the only one saying this, he gets this from a lot of people. He's really talented. But the thing is that there's something going on with the way he does, how he does his videos, or something that's not meeting with the YouTube algorithm the way that it should, and so YouTube isn't recognizing his stuff, so it's not building nearly as fast as like this channel has. And so I think he's discouraged, but you know, YouTube is what you put into it. So if you don't spend time with it, and if you don't put the work in, you're not going to get anything out of it. And I think that's probably where he's at right now, is he needs to be putting the work into it if he wants to see results. And you know, he's gone sometimes like 2 months without a video, and he's got 332 subscribers, I think, that are like, where'd he go? Did he fall off the side of the planet? You know, what's going on? So I don't know. I hope his new one does well. The other stuff that we do on there is we have skits, and where we do acting as a family. And we have a very theatrical family. I just have to say that. We have a very theatrical family. Our little family, my husband, myself, our 3 daughters, and our son, we've been doing family skits and acting together since our kids were little. And so you see a lot of that in the videos that he puts up. So, and it cracks me up because there's one on his channel that's called, oh my gosh, The House Guest, I believe. Oh my gosh. Too funny. It's just too funny. It's mostly him and his sister, and when you get those two together, it's amazing the things that they can come up with. So, but yeah, I'm thankful to my son for helping me with all of this, because I wouldn't have the slightest clue. Like going live with this particular software that I'm live on right now, I wouldn't have known what to do unless he showed it to me. I didn't even know it even existed. I thought you just had to go onto YouTube and hit live. Oh no, there's all these other ways to do it. So, all right, well, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. It's getting later. I got a video to put up for you guys. It's a beautifully edited video. And you guys can grab some yarn and a hook and get busy making that baby hat if you know anybody who needs one. And I know one person, Jeannie, who did not show up today. I know she said she was going to try to be here, but she's not here. And I know that she was probably going to want to make this hat because she has a new grandchild on the way. So anyway. All right, guys. Well, have a good night. Thank you so much for joining. I am blown away by how many people showed up tonight and stuck with me. This is awesome. So next Saturday, same time, just put it on your calendar, and we will chat it up every week, and bring your questions, bring your comments, and we will discuss all of it here. So you guys have a good evening. Have a great rest of the week. Enjoy the next video, and I will see you next week.